Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today for a cherry on top to share with you this multi-photo layout created using the print shop collection from Vicki Boutin, as well as the Tim Holtz framed tag dies. So those of you who watch my videos regularly and or follow my work know that I am obsessed with the Tim Holtz Distress labels. So the framed tags are the same idea. So you get to deboss a color of your choosing into a tag. So the exact same thick line and then thin line outline the tag, and you get to make a tag. It's super cool. You also have 3 different hole reinforcer options, and so I am using those later on. So I have chosen for the 12 by 12 papers to use the blues and the teals for this somewhat monochromatic layout. And then you can see I'm going to use that black stripe as well, just for some contrast. So I didn't realize that I had cut the 4 by 6 pockets, and that's okay. I am able to salvage 2 of them in order to provide some journal spots. And as I've said previously, this trimmer and I are not exactly friends currently. Yes, it's pretty close to coming to, yes, flying across the room. But so I will do some trimming. You will see trimming with scissors. You will also see trimming happen with my Tim Holtz guillotine as well. So I was able to salvage some of these 4 by 6s, the bits and pieces that worked with the color scheme that I was working with. That there is a branding strip, and I liked that the flowers were the same flowers that are in that lower paper there. So these are the framed tags from Tim Holtz. They are Thinlit Sizzix dies, but they are also you can add color by debossing. Now, if you choose not to add color, you can just have that debossed frame. So what you are supposed to do is actually use oil paints with the brayer. I like to just use my stamp pad because it's easy. I just literally roll my brayer, make sure that my brayer is well coated in ink, and then roll it over the die. Using, this is artist tape, I am able to give myself a little handle so that when I've got that lovely inked up die to then stick onto my manual die cut machine, I've got something to handle it and not get ink all over my fingers. At least that's the idea. I still manage to get ink all over my fingers. So you can see how I'm picking up ink color and making sure the brayer is covered on all surfaces, so all 360 degrees. And then I am rolling that onto the metal die and there. So you can see I don't get perfect coverage, but that's okay because the idea, so I'm going to do this with a smaller die and another color, is that it is, I mean, the label is called the Distress Label. And so really in my mind, this should, in fact, I assumed it was called the Distressed Frame Tag. But I like that it's not even coverage of color. It's kind of, especially with these more grungy collections like Vicki Boutin is known to make. So I have some great white spaces that I can put my title as well as journaling, or just have it be part of the decor, so to speak, of the page. So you can see I pulled out the hole reinforcer. I am going to cut that out of the blue. I cut a little hole out of the paper because I knew that my photo was going to cover that hole there. And that way I didn't have to cut into yet another piece of the paper for that. So the idea is that I have 3 photos. Each of these photos is 3 by 5. So I've cut it, I think I want to say that I did it 3 1/4. I may be wrong. Each of those strips, and each of those strips is going to contain a photo, and then I'm going to embellish that. So that ends up being the foundation of my page there. You can see I have some great contrast between the darks and the lights, which goes with the darks and the lights that are in the photo there. So that is the foundation. And then it's time, once I adhere all of that down, to just get the embellishments in there. And there are a lot of great embellishments that coordinate with this. I do want to provide that continuous movement across the page in that center strip there, which is why I'm using that really great black and white paper there. You had one white space because I chose to vary the length of each of those strips. That black and white is a great way of filling the white space a little bit. So I had cut it with the idea, the whole reinforces that I would use both of them blue, but it's the same blue in that top strip. And I decide that I'm going to go light with that. And you can barely see it, but it does have a light grid pattern on the back. And so that was what I was hoping to capture in that top tag there. So my top tag is going to house the title, and that says Pamper, and I will explain that to you in a minute. And then my second tag in the photo down below is going to house my journaling, and I do the journaling always off camera. And then that third little space with that journal spot there is more just, it is going to house the date with a label, but it's kind of more of a breather. It's more white space there. So this is Jasmine. We have two cats and our tortoiseshell tabby. This one is Jasmine. We also have a gray tabby whose name is Luna, and I'm sure you've seen them in many of my layouts. But Jasmine likes to... So first of all, Jasmine has her own language. Jasmine talks, she mixes up words. So my daughter has this thing that's called mandatories, where she picks Jasmine up and they have to sit and snuggle for a minute. And Jasmine calls those tories instead of mandatories. And the hamper is also known as a pamper when Jasmine talks in Jasmine's voice. Ha ha ha. When Jasmine uses her human voice, that is her talking. And so the title of the layout is Pamper because she loves to, so this is a tall laundry hamper. And she loves to sit in hampers, but she loves this hamper in particular, but she doesn't like it tall. So she hops in and then pushes on a wall of the hamper, which knocks it over, and she will nap there and lay there. And she really likes it when we put the hamper sideways on the end of our bed, which is otherwise known as the big bed in Jasmine language. And she will sleep in her hamper, her pamper, at the foot of the big bed all night long. I also put the hamper on top of the laundry machine. The dryer? I think I put it on top of the dryer, and she will go in there, knock it over, same idea, and sit in the hamper. And just, you won't be able to find her because that's where she is, hanging out in the hamper. So anyway, that's what this layout is about, is her love of her pamper. So I'm fussy cutting some flowers. There are some blue flowers in the collection, but I want the continuity of this same flower that's in the strip at the bottom tied up into the top of the layout. And so that is why I am going to fussy cut some from the back, from the pattern paper. I'm going to spare you the agony of having to watch that. And in the meantime, I also forgot to hit record, but I did fussy cut the black and white flower right by my hand right there. And then I did put in from the letters that accompany the collection Pamper for the title there that you can see. So I'm going to spare you the agony of me cutting literally, like, it felt like 20 pieces of double-sided foam that I'm putting behind words. I usually don't get this fussy about it, but words, you kind of need each of the letters to have their own bit of foam. Otherwise you get this concavity. So I backed up in Joy so that is got some dimension and adds dimension to the page. And then I did also use, that is actually one of the die cuts from the ephemera pack, the yellow flower there. And it is the only thing that has yellow, but the piece of paper now, that kind of more greeny blue teal that in that middle strip, has a lot of yellow to it, as well as the frame on that rescued 4x6, the one end of the 4x6 card, also has some yellow in it. And I just liked that little bit of contrast, as well as the way that it made the gold that's in the layout pop as well. So I'm popping up a few of the flowers, again, just for some dimension. I like texture to my pages. I like the shadow that the dimension leaves. And then because she is in the shadow of the hamper too, that top wall is sort of fallen down on her. I love that it mimics the shadow of the hamper there. So you'll see me reaching to the top of the screen there. That is actually my tripod, and I house a lot of unused elements there, stickers and double-sided foam, and so that label from LA Studio, just part of my stash, was sitting on the tripod, and that's what I reached up for, and I will put the date in that. So I also have this is, I guess, the equivalent of a sticker book with the stickers for this collection, and so I'm going to scatter a few of those. You can see the little bird that I put in on the left hand side there. This little tab says explore, and so I had to move the label up in order for that to fit. And then this little sticker, I love it. It says look inside, because it's perfect, because it shows her hiding in there. I am going to use some Simple Stories washi at that bottom left hand corner, as well as a simple little label. I was showing you there that I was going to journal, and there is the full layout in its completion. So the close-ups are coming. This is still available over at A Cherry on Top. So if you are looking for this and the super awesome die, be sure to click on the links down below. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you are doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.